to celebrate Thanksgiving. For that, we organized a series of volunteer experience sharing seminars. True Love is a nonprofit organization that is focused on providing love and support to kids with intellectual and developmental disabilities. This is our website. Under the leadership of Mrs. Kelly Shen, the organization has brought attention to special needs individuals in the Chinese American community and developed a comprehensive living community for these individuals. Now the first speaker is Hope. Let's welcome Hope.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh, hello everyone, I'm Hope. And today I'm going to be talking about the importance of volunteering on one's personal growth, specifically my own personal growth. So I think one of the biggest parts of volunteering is not just helping your community, but really connecting yourself to your community. So like volunteering is obviously about helping better the world around you by helping the people through obviously like helping the disabled and the homeless, or helping the environment by like picking up trash or helping plant trees. But I think a big part of it that people sometimes overlook is the connections you build through it. So I started like really volunteering probably like late 7th grade. And when I started as a library volunteer, which wasn't like super impactful to me or my community, and I didn't really gain much from it. But as I grew and as I took more opportunities that presented themselves to me, I started meeting more people through like True Love and through like other programs. I started making connections and making friends. And that was really, really cool and really important to me because I met people who had like the same interests as me and who had the same idea on how to influence the world around us. And I think it's really important because through these connections and through these friends I've made, I have grown as a person from learning from them and learning how they can help me and how I can help them. It's like a give and take. And another really big part of volunteering, I think, is helping like develop like personal skills. So obviously volunteering builds up a lot of leadership. And in middle school, again, I don't think I was much of a leader, like especially like 6th, 7th grade. I really would like consider myself more of like a follower. I just like went with the flow. I was never really the one to lead the conversation. But as again, I started like volunteering and started being put in a position where I had to kind of lead and I had to teach others and I had to help others, I really like built up that sort of confidence and that charisma I needed to become a leader. And like that's really important, especially for like things like public speaking. And although I'm still not like the best at it, I'm way, way better now than I was like when I was younger. Like when I first started middle school, I really was kind of afraid of like talking in front of people and really being put in that position where everybody was staring at me. But through my experiences as a volunteer and through being put in a position where I have to do that and I have to learn how to talk to different types of people, I've really like grown a lot in that aspect. And another like important skill that volunteering helps build is communication. Because like through True Love, you really have to learn how to communicate with like not only the kids but the parents as well. And you have to learn like what you need to do to be able to effectively like teach them, and that requires you like putting yourself out there and asking questions and communicating with others. And that like carries over into like life outside of volunteering. Like with friends and family and really just people around you, this sort of effective communication you learn is really, really helpful, especially for like building relationships and keeping relationships and really just knowing what's going on. And I think that sort of communication is really, really helpful. And a big part that I've learned how to do through volunteering is I've learned how to adapt to different situations. So I joined True Love like earlier this year. And when I first joined, I had no experience to like kids with disabilities. And I was a little bit lost when I first started, but through like experiences and through seeing others do it and through having to do it myself, I really like learned a lot about how to deal with these kinds of situations. And through that, I've learned how to adapt myself better to other situations, or like in general, I've learned how to fix my own self to help teach others better. And I've learned that everybody is different and everybody requires like a different teaching style. So some people need a little more patience and some people need a little more motivation, and seeing like who needs what and being able to change myself to apply to that is really like a big part of what I've learned. And this like again this applies a lot to like the world outside of volunteering. Like I've just learned how to adapt myself to different situations with different people, and I am able to like correct myself faster to different situations so I can effectively like communicate or help others. And for me, I think actually the biggest part of how volunteering has impacted me and how it impacts people in general is it makes you really aware of like the world and the people around you. So like growing up, I was super, I guess, like unaware of how well off I was and how sort of lucky I was. And I really didn't become aware of this until probably middle school again, yeah. But I started volunteering when I was in third grade through my Girl Scout troop. And even then, I think I like was kind of ignorant to what I was really doing. And I didn't really care much about what I was doing. I was just doing it because of my Girl Scout troop and because of my friends who were doing it as well. And like that kept going for like years until I'd say up to like sixth grade, where I was just doing something without really knowing the impact I was having and without really being aware of the people I was doing it for. So I think in seventh grade was when I really started getting into volunteering. I started like not only becoming more aware of the people around me, but I started becoming more aware of my own situation and how I was in a position where I could help others around me. And I became aware that that was a very important thing for me to do, because not everybody has the advantages that I have. And through like volunteering, I'm able to help, I suppose, like share the wealth in a sort of way. And I can help others who are not like who are like disadvantaged. And it's really, really important because like through like volunteering, it sort of like humbled me in a way, and it sort of really made me see that yeah, I may have like a few problems, but there are people out there who have way, way more problems than me and have to work really, really hard to get to the position I'm in. And I have a chance to help them get here, which I think is really, really cool, because through wanting to help others in a worse position, it really makes you and yourself a better person. And it really like helps you build character and build up these skills that are really important. And I think through like volunteering and wanting to like help others, you get this sort of like fulfillment from seeing your impact like on your community and on those people around you. And like it not only like helps make other people happy and helps make those around you happy, it helps like give yourself a sort of like happiness and fulfillment, because you get to see how much you are impacting those people and how you're impacting your environment and how you're really just helping make the world a better place, which I think is the biggest part of volunteering. And that's it. Thank you.
Oh, yes. That was a wonderful speech. Thank you. Now let's welcome Amy, our next speaker.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Moe. I'm a sophomore at Johns Creek High School, and I'm also a tutor for True Love. I've been working with this wonderful organization for about half a year, and I love it. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to speak to you guys today. I heard about True Love around when the COVID-19 pandemic started, and school started having students transition from to learning from home. My first real experience with volunteering was when I was in 6th grade. I went downtown Atlanta with my mom and some of her coworkers to Dunbar Elementary School. Now, Dunbar Elementary School is full of students who are not the most fortunate. 100% of the students in that school were receiving free or discounted meal plans. Most of them were so poor that they couldn't even afford food, let alone computers or devices in their houses. So a nonprofit organization contacted my mom's company and wanted to work with them that weekend to provide laptops for those students to take home. So we spent the entire day talking to the kids and their parents and teaching them how to use the devices, how to play games, and how to reach certain websites that they might need for school. So I remember there was this one elderly lady who came in with her 2 grandchildren, and they were all really excited to receive the technology because they had never really owned any kind of electronic device before. And so they were getting a laptop without having to take a single penny out of their own pocket. A lot of reactions from the parents and students were similar and just as life-changing. The kids' responses were so full of joy, and the parents were full of hope. It really taught me that the little things that we take for granted now mean the entire world to those kids and their families. For a couple years, I also worked with this organization that brought food to people who weren't able to afford much, but weren't eligible for food stamps. So we would spend the entire afternoon sorting out donations and putting together boxes of food, detergent, dog food, and other necessities to send to the families. So through this organization, they taught us how to do things like make detergent and like cook warm meals for the families. And because detergent really is very important for people to be able to like wash their clothes and stay sanitary and everything, but it's also really expensive. So at this organization, basically they just take these soap shavings and they mix them in a huge pot with water, and then they pour them into these donated empty like Tide bottles, and then that's what they give to the families, because it's like you don't have to pay for all of the Tide because it's really expensive, and they still like have the same effect. They would also have some kids work in the kitchen and prepare warm meals for the families, because they don't often get to have warm meals. Yeah, and occasionally we would even sign up to deliver the packages with the food and everything, which meant driving to their homes. Some of the best and most memorable times were when a kid was at the house. they'd run around calling for their parents so that they could open the door. And the look on their faces when they saw somebody standing there and delivering their supplies for the week was really priceless. And when there were birthdays in the community that we sent food to, the organization would even send cakes and balloons and things. So I remember once we got to deliver to one of these families, and their reactions were genuinely so pure. We met the mother outside, and her children and dogs were running around the yard. And she was really happy when she saw the birthday supplies. She told us that her son had never been able to celebrate his birthday like that before. They'd never had cakes or any sort of decorations. So she was really grateful for everyone who donated and helped out. I've always really loved helping people around the community in any way that I could. I was fortunate to grow up in a really well-off household. We never really had any financial issues, but we weren't the most wealthy by any means. So seeing all of this made me really realize how fortunate I really am, and that I would like to give back to the community in any way that I can. I love the feeling of helping someone less fortunate than me. The looks on their faces when they see that someone genuinely cares and is looking out for them is remarkable. From these experiences, I've also learned that I love to work with kids and teaching and helping out of my community. So when I heard about True Love, it seemed like the absolute perfect fit for me. It also was, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it was easier to do the classes online so that I wouldn't have to commute and take an hour to drive anywhere. Last year during school, I was involved in a lot of clubs and after-school events, so I didn't really have the time to add anything else to my plate. But after coronavirus and everything, a lot of the exams and other school things were getting canceled or brought to a minimum. So I started to invest the time that I got back in community service. I feel like because of the pandemic and everything turning online, there was that chance to get involved in more volunteer opportunities. So for the short time that I've been here at True Love, I've tutored a lot of kids, each of whom are genuinely very smart and taught me many things themselves. Some kids learn more quickly than others, and they've all taught me to be patient, which is really important, I feel like, when working with these kids. I had a student who came into class not really understanding how to do a certain type of math problem, and then after doing one together, he blew through the rest of the practice really quickly. Other students I had needed multiple explanations about like words or problems, and then even then sometimes they wouldn't understand. So it's taught me to really be clear and concise with my words and make sure that I speak in a way that kids can understand in and really take in what they're being taught. I also think in terms of teaching, engagement is really vital. Some students I've worked with have shorter attention spans. So in order to keep their attention and keep them engaged in class, it's really important to have fun with them, to like make the environment more fun and seem more natural can help the kids learn. And also providing incentives to work more efficiently can help. Like if one of the students really likes to draw or something, for example, then maybe do a couple problems, and then after that they can take a break and draw something on the screen. Also, I like to have conversations with my students, so it's not always just like all work and no play. So after class or sometimes before class, I'll like have conversations. And yeah, so Halloween just passed by, and I had, yeah, we had a couple talks after class about like how people are going to dress up and everything. And it just made the kids, I guess, more excited to come into class and to finish class so that we could really talk about that. I think overall it's just really important to be friendly and to be happy around the students, and to make them really want to come to class so it doesn't seem like such a burden. But also just to have fun teaching them, because they really are, they're wonderful kids. And yeah, so getting to hang out and talk with them really is kind of the highlight of my week. I also love that the True Love organization has a lot of opportunities for tutors to express themselves. I remember we had a show a little bit ago where a lot of the tutors signed up to like display their own talents and what they like to do. There were people who played the piano or who danced, or people like me who played their instruments for everybody. And I love that it's not only about the interaction between the students and their tutors, but also they've created like an entire community for everybody. And I really love that. That's it.
Amy taught me math previously, and now she is my book club teacher. That was a great speech. Thank you, Amy. Next, let's welcome Joanna, our last speaker for today, who I don't know.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself for a second. So hi guys, I'm Joanna and I'm a junior at Chattahoochee High School. So I'm just going to talk about why I really like volunteering and how I really got into the whole community service area and why I love working with special needs kids. So when I was younger, I was in the hospital a lot. So kind of from an early age, I grasped the idea of what it looks like to be compassionate and empathetic from the care I was getting from the doctors and nurses. And I feel like ever since then, I've really been attracted to service, specifically in my own community. I also have a family member, not in my immediate family, but one of my cousin's kids. He's actually a special needs kid and he has some pretty severe disabilities. And I've kind of grown up with him and we spend a lot of time together over the holidays. And I feel like for me, it's been a really amazing experience to see him grow up and become this enthusiastic, curious, and kind boy he is. And I feel like through watching him be so resilient and positive, I realized that I really like working with special needs kids because of how gratifying it is to watch them grow up and experience new things. So I feel like my favorite part about teaching is kind of like what Hope and Amy said too, about like the authentic friendships you get to form with the children. And it's just so exciting to see them really excited to see you every week. And they want to show you what they did over the week and the pictures they drew and everything they did. So I teach the 3rd and 4th graders and they are so talented and really smart. And like Hope and Amy said, I actually learned a lot about myself through teaching them. I feel like we're so like stuck in our own world and our own reality sometimes talking to them and seeing how open-hearted they are and radiant they are, I feel like it allows me to see the world in this whole new perspective. And I feel like immersing myself in the special needs environment has been truly like diverse because every single kid has a unique way of thinking and the way they interact with other things. So really like looking at them and seeing and listening to them has been really rewarding, and to be able to tune into their perspectives has been eye-opening too. So I teach the 3rd and 4th graders, and they're really fun-loving, they're curious, and they're really kind, and they're always so excited to learn new things. And I teach reading, so they're always like, "Can we read a book?" And it's just overall a really fun time, and seeing them really optimistic about learning has really inspired me to grow and thrive alongside of them. So I feel like the best part about teaching special needs is to be able to be an older role model to them. And I feel like a big part of your role as a role model to them is to empower them and to give them more confidence and self-esteem. So I feel like that has been so gratifying for me to see them grow up and become more confident in themselves and more outgoing. So I feel like that's a really great part about special needs education. Um, and another part I kind of want to talk about is Rebecca and I, another volunteer, we made a club at our school for special needs kids. And it has been such a great experience. It's made me fall in love even more with the whole special needs kids education and also true love. So we made a club and we have like 30 members, I think. And so we are connected with True Love, and so our members teach these kids at True Love. So a lot of these kids actually know people from our school, and it's just been a great time expanding the community and seeing so many new people who have never encountered special needs before come in and teach. And sometimes they message me and they're like, wow, like these kids, they're really amazing and I've had such a great time. And they get so excited when they teach the kids, which makes me so happy because it feels like I'm actually making a genuine and authentic impact on our community. So our club has been a big part of True Love, and it's been so fun and rewarding. I feel like for teaching special needs kids, the most important part is to really be able to adapt to the kids and figure out what they like and what they don't like. And I feel like you can cater your lessons to their passions and hobbies. That way, everything will be more fun. Just like Amy said, like sometimes it's hard for kids to become more engaged. Sometimes they kind of lose focus. So definitely doing that like reward system, like, okay, we can read for like 20 minutes and we'll watch a short little movie clip from YouTube. So that's like been really fun. And just being able to teach them and, you know, sometimes going through difficulties, I feel like it's helped me become more patient and more kind of like a more grounded person. And I know kind of how to deal with some difficulties now. Other than this, I think I joined True Love in January. So it's been like 9 months now. And I've literally had the best time with these kids. I mean, we've gotten so close over these 9 months, and I just hope I can teach them forever because they've honestly grown so much over 9 months. And just being able to see them, sometimes they can't really read when they begin, and then they get like so good at it and they're like volunteering to read more paragraphs. It's just a really great time to be able to give out to your community and also feel so confident in yourself. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. This is awesome. Today we have some other volunteers and True Love parents. Do any of you like to speak or share your experiences?